I'm marrying for love, for true love. Don't do that. Don't marry for love. Marry for money. Okay, a Met Gala ticket is $75,000. True love can't buy you a Met Gala ticket. Marry for money.
Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. One of the interesting things that I'm discovering as I travel across the internet is I see some very noticeable trends happening. Women used to complain men did all these awful things. Men only wanted to sleep with women because of their bodies. Men only wanted one thing. Men didn't respect women for who they were. Old men dating younger women is skeezy and creepy and whatever. Guys only worry about making money and they don't really, love a family, or they're not interested in having a family. They're only interested in goofing around and being bachelors. Those are tropes that have been around for a very long time. And as I'm looking through the interwebs, trying to find things to talk about, I notice that women are now doing all these things, and it's the men that are saying, I just would like a girlfriend that's not going to leave or find a better dude or somebody that has more money or whatever. So I got a bunch of videos to go over, some stories to go over today. It'll probably be a little bit of a longer one, but I'm going to put the exciting stuff up front for those of you that have a shorter attention span. I'm going to start here. This was posted on Twitter, and for those of you just listening, it's a little meme cartoon, and it shows a girl that says, I can't find a man who meets my standards. That's something we hear all the time. This is the part that women don't understand, because below it says, I don't meet the standards of the men who meet my standards. This is obviously hypergamy and women dating out of their range. What blew me away about this particular meme, I didn't see it from a men's channel. I didn't see it from a man at all. It was a woman. And it wasn't just pearly things, and it wasn't other women that are kind of, jumping on the bandwagon of men's issues. This is from a conservative woman, news reporter. She just puts up news tweets and breaking news, and here's some interesting things. And she used to be a former journalist. I tried to find her Twitter account, and I forget which one it was that I grabbed it from. It's a good thing that men's issues and the things that I used to talk about 5 years ago that had guys saying, dude, I love your content, man, but I don't want to follow it because you know how YouTube is, or you know how my girlfriend might be. I'm uncomfortable following this kind of content because, we get labeled as misogynistic or hateful, or why do you hate all women, or all the other things. We've broken so mainstream in this sphere that now it's not just Andrew Tate, and you've got people like Tucker Carlson and I'm trying to think of some of the other big names, like Normies, what we would consider Normies, talking about women's standards and women not having kids, and women just marrying short term to get a guy's money, and women bouncing after just a few years. It's all over the place. And while this is a huge win, it also kind of makes me feel in many cases like maybe in some ways the manosphere's job is done. We can sit back and enjoy the fruits of our labors, and we can watch everybody else realize how crazy things are. But this is a very accurate thing, and it's so accurate that now the normies are paying attention. This was also being circulated around previously and today. And these are going to be a bunch of videos of women just coming straight out and telling you, no matter what you do, I'm not going to stay with you. The long-term relationship is done until I'm so old that I don't have any other options left, and then I'm going to settle for a man with money. That they're just coming right out and saying it. I'm going to sleep and have fun with young guys, and then as I get older and my options run out, I will marry a guy with money. Or in some cases, if they still stay relatively attractive, there are young guys out there that are saying, hey, you know what? She's 50, but she's a smoke show for a 50-year-old. I'm going to sleep with her because I can raw dog it and not have to worry about getting her pregnant. Let me play through this video and you guys will hear what I'm talking about, because they're coming right up to you, looking you in the eye and telling you what kind of people they are now. It's not even pretending anymore.
So why did you guys get a divorce?
Because I really wanted something different. It's very unfortunate because he was the most loving, kind person. I had all the love and support that I could have ever wanted. But I think I went through a period wanting money. Like I wanted to be with someone and be at a different level. And I saw him work all of the time. It's one thing to like work and work and work from like 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. at night, day in, day out, and still have no resources. And for me to work, do the same, and just want a different life.
And now let's flip this around. And it's a lot of whataboutism, but let's do the whataboutism. You're a man working from 4 a.m. till 10 p.m. and it's not enough for her. So you're busting your butt because you're trying to get her to a point where she feels she has enough resources, which actually means money. And she's going to leave you because it's not enough money. You notice she didn't say, she said he was loving and supportive and he was there for me and was a great man, but he didn't provide enough resources. And that man was working from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. to try to get her the resources she needed. But that's not why she left. She didn't leave because he was working from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. and he wasn't around to shower her with affection or be romantic or take her out. No, he just still wasn't able to bring in enough. And so when I talk about the whataboutism, let's flip this on its head, right? If a man said she wasn't what I wanted anymore, she just wasn't providing enough money, she wasn't providing enough sex, she wasn't providing enough attention, she didn't give me the things I wanted, so I left. He's the selfish one. Oh, you bailed on her just because she didn't want to sleep with you as much as you wanted, you selfish man. Oh, you left her because she wasn't providing enough money. Well, that's your job. Like it's always against the men's side. So now if a guy does this, it's bad. If a woman does it, it's empowering. And if a man notices that women are doing it, you're misogynistic and you're awful. It's a very nefarious game, and women have gotten very good at, even if they're the bad ones, they play the V card. Oh, woe is me. I'm the one that's being harmed by this stuff. And it's not just your average woman either. I don't know who Kaka, which is a kind of a crazy name, but apparently he's a footballer, i.e. soccer player, I guess. He's a Brazil football. Now, he doesn't look to be a rugby player because he's a skinny guy. So I'm going to go with soccer. We Americans are kind of stupid about that stuff. He was married for 10 years. He's a good-looking guy. He's an athlete. He's at the top of his game. And he got left. And his wife says, his ex-wife says, he was too perfect for me. Now, this is one group of stories. Not all the stories have the same theme to them today. Well, it is women being awful, but I mean, it's not all about guys being too good. But here, I guess Silico, she's the wife or ex-wife, and it says Silico's comments have left everyone in shock as she opened up on her marriage with the 2007 Ballon d'Or winner. And this is from April, so it's a couple months old. Again, I don't follow the football stuff, but this was sent to me by a viewer. It says Brazilian football legend Kaka's ex-wife, Caroline Silico, recently revealed the shocking reason behind her divorcing the former AC Milan star, saying that he was too perfect for her. Silico's comments have left everyone in shock as she opened up on her marriage with the 2007 Ballon d'Or winner. Kaka married his childhood sweetheart in 2005 in Sao Paulo, but the couple divorced after 10 years of marriage in 2015. The couple have 2 kids, a son and a daughter. Kaka never betrayed me. He treated me well. He gave me a wonderful family, but I was not happy. Something was missing. The problem was he was too perfect for me. Now, could too perfect mean he was too nice a man? That there was no internal strife. She didn't get the butterflies because she knew she had him in the palm of her hand. Maybe. But are we now saying that if a man is dedicated and loving and he's a professional, soccer player, footballer, so he brings in good money, He's a good dad. They have 2 kids together. And she decides, you know what? The money and him treating me well and us having kids together and the family, that's not enough. I have to go. At what point does a man say, this being a nice guy isn't working out? Not even like the nice guy, right? The boring nice guy. Just being good to women is not. And let's turn it around. What if he decided to leave her? Oh, she was a great woman. She's a great mom. She's wonderful. I love her, but something was missing, so I bounced. He's the bad guy. But now when she does it, it's, well, are we missing something in relationships that women need that men aren't providing? How crazy is this? And if we do that turnaround, these are the things that women used to complain about men all the time. And now they're doing it. And they're fine with doing it. And they have no complaints of doing it. And we call this out, and we're the bad guys. Now, they say in the meanwhile, he's found somebody else, but she has also found somebody else. He was perfect, and he still loses. How does this keep happening? So we get the idea that, okay, maybe just being a good man isn't enough. And she's 36. Let's be honest, she didn't have too much time left that she could go hop and find another guy. Well, now I've got a video about women thinking they're God's gift to everything. This is not a satire account. I went and I did look at it. I want you to hear, so that's one side, that guys are not good enough or they're too good. You're either one or the other. You're not good enough or you're too good. Or you're the bad boy that women want, and then when they capture you, they get to know you, and now they understand you, and there's no more butterflies, and then you're boring, and then they leave again. That kind of sounds like a Playboy hopping between, Playboy models or, Victoria's Secret models or something like that. So it's bad if the guys do it, but women are fine with it. Let's listen to Miss Thing here, because you don't see videos of guys doing this. I haven't, at least. I don't see people sharing all these videos of guys with, their head up their backside, thinking they're God's gift to women, other than Andrew Tate. But he's a unique case. All right, let's listen to this girl brag on how men can't handle her because she's so perfect.
What do you mean you don't have a boyfriend? You're so pretty. What do you mean you have 0 men in your phone? What do you mean you've gone 8 months without... What do you mean? That makes no sense. Yeah, well, combine pretty with intelligent, strong, successful, slaying at life, you've got a very terrifying woman on your hands. A very not easy woman on your hands, right? Men don't like that. Men do not like me. Men are very, very terrified of me. And the men who do like me, the ones that are attracted to me, are unavailable. Men who are in relationships actively. And uggo weirdos. Because at the end of the day, I am merely just a fantasy. I am not a real human because of the pretty and scary. So yes, babe, I'm alone. I'm very, 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 very single.
She's not mentally well, first of all. She's not mentally well, okay? Imagine, okay, again, we're going to pretend Andrew Tate doesn't exist because he's the only guy that I know that does this all the time. But do you see these videos of men being asked outside the club, should women exist? No, we don't need them. Why are you single? Because I'm God's gift to women, and I'm intimidating, and I'm beautiful, and I'm so smart, and I'm talented, and the only people that want me are fat uggos. I don't see those videos on the internet. And it's not like I just crawl around in men's, the men's side of the men's sphere. I'm all over the place. It's only the women doing this. They're becoming insufferable. But women hate insufferable men. Women hate stuck-up men. Women hate men that they think they're all that. But I don't see any of them. But women are doing that. They're becoming the awful things they keep saying men are over and over again. And, this is kind of going in a different direction. Like I said, I'm all over the place. But the overwhelming theme here is that women are now worse than men by magnitudes when it comes to dating, relationships, what they expect out of a man. And the guys are the ones that are saying, you guys are crazy. Like, we're not this bad. We've never been this bad. This is from the Daily Mail. Roz Switzer I'm a 52-year-old divorcee and assumed I'd be dating boring old men. But hot guys in their 20s can't get enough of me. Here's what I've learned about being a MILF. Remember all the women that are very angry at Henry Cavill at the, geriatric age of 32, dating a 19-year-old model. Those 13 years, that is horrible. How can this even exist? And then when Hugh Hefner used to date 5 or 6 Playboy models, this is criminal. Why is a lecherous old man going after these women? And then when it comes to Leonardo DiCaprio, I mean, he's famous for, throwing the fish back when it hits 25 and fishing up another 21-year-old. But when a 52-year-old divorced woman does it, it's stunning and brave, everybody. It's stunning and brave, that double standard. And what blows me away is this is such a short-term fantasy. You know what it reminds me of? Imagine when you're a kid, you always wanted to go to McDonald's. Your parents never took you to McDonald's. You had to have healthy food for dinner with a glass of milk. And once a month, at least that's how it was in my household, once a month, maybe if you were lucky, we got to order a pizza or go to McDonald's or do something crazy like that. That's also why I'm a lot fatter today than I was when I was a kid. I was actually a pretty skinny kid because I was very active and I ate healthy, so I was in very good shape. What happens if you keep eating that crap every day when you turn an adult and you're like, wow, I got money and I can go to McDonald's every day now that I'm an adult? Pretty soon you start feeling like crap. Pretty soon you start getting fat. You start becoming unhealthy. This is the same thing that these women are doing. They're diving into the fast food of dating. This woman is, for being 50, she's still pretty good looking for a 52-year-old. But if I'm out there and I say, oh man, I'm still going to the clubs and the pubs, I'm finding young women and I'm hooking up with them and just having fun, I should be buried, I don't know, they call you all the names, right? But if she does it, stunning and brave. And they see no problems with her doing it with the young men. But when the older men do it with the younger women, the feminists are out in brigade. They say when Roz Switzer got divorced in her 40s, she thought she'd be stuck with a small pool of romantic rejects and appropriately aged but boring men. Why is it assumed that an older guy is a romantic reject? See, they already are being negative towards men. She was wrong. Now the 52-year-old, the single mom, has revealed hot men in their 20s line up to date her. Date. Yeah, they're dating her all right. It's not really a date. It's another 4-letter word that rhymes with fire truck. The Australian television personality told Female, it doesn't take long for the MILF hunters to come calling, and they're just as brazen in bars and coffee shops as they are online. Yeah, she's meeting up with players that just want to do a pump and dump. And she thinks it's awesome because she can still attract these young guys. Hey, great. Congrats on being the town doorknob and everybody taking their turn. She says they see MILFs as real women. Okay. Who can look them in the eye, hold a conversation without playing with their phones, and who know exactly what they want in bed, she said. Roz has run into a few MILF hunters in the 8 years since her divorce and revealed exactly how to spot one in the wild. They're overly confident ones. They're not shy and staring and winking from you across the bar. They tend to hang in packs, but then they'll approach you and give you a pickup line. And we're going to keep doing this spin because this is what women complained about. If they're 40-year-old or 50-year-old guys that maybe are red pill, maybe they've taken some pickup classes, maybe they kind of know a little bit of the head games to play with women, and they do that, those guys are awful. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of like red pill dating coach stuff that has been removed from Reddit. And they've had women come after them for saying that these guys are manipulative and they're pigs. But when a woman's doing it, and here's how a woman manipulates by wearing low-cut tops and makeup and basically being incredibly easy, that's manipulative to men. But it's fine. There's no problems. Women are doing the same thing they complain about that the men do. The difference is it's fine when they do it because men are the evil ones and women are just, innocent flowers. They don't do it. We don't know any better. Tee-hee, we're just silly girls. It's the evil, bad men doing it. It's manipulation. This is an article just from, 2 days ago. Being a cougar is so back. And they talk about everything old is new again, and now it's okay to be a cougar. I'm not going to read through the whole story because it's stupid. But once again, it's fine when these women go out chasing after the 20-somethings that just want to sleep with them. But if an older dude goes out and dates women he just wants to sleep with, he's the bad guy. Okay, I think that's all I had. No, I'll play this one. I'll play this one and I think that goes together at the same time. Insufferable. Here's from a man's perspective what dating's like. And this is guy, again, not in the men's sphere, he's just a dude that he decided to post a video on TikTok. He decided to just go on a date. And this is his experience.
So my dating life is a joke. I can't even make this up anymore. Like I can't even make this stuff up. I'm talking to this girl. We're texting for a little bit. It's going well. I say, hey, do you like coffee? She says, yeah, I love coffee. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool. We mesh on something. Do you want to get coffee sometime? So she texts back and she says, this isn't going to work for me. We have different approaches / principles to dating, and I'm not going to waste our time any further. And she blocked me. You just said you love coffee. What's wrong with getting coffee? Like, that is a easy way to talk, get to know somebody a little more, and just enjoy a warm or cold beverage with caffeine.
This is a guy that's completely out of the loop of dating. That's the guy that doesn't follow men's channels, that's not familiar with guys going their own way or red pill content. He's a quote unquote normie. He's just a normal guy. And because he didn't offer to take her to a fancy dinner or something that's expensive and just wanted to do the coffee thing, she sees him as, I don't know, she sees him as either not trying hard enough or a guy that she's not going to be able to get a free dinner or a free something out of. And he's flabbergasted. Like, just, I don't understand what's going on. What's going on? Because he doesn't follow content. He's not out there being aware of what dating's like now. He's a normie. And so many men will run into that. And then in YouTube or, on social media or a website or something, they type in dating. Why is it so hard to date, or dating coaches, or men dating, or something like that. And then they find a channel like mine, or, one similar to it. And then the guys say either, oh, they're so full of crap, these guys are just butthurt losers, only to loop back around in a couple of years realizing we're not butthurt losers, we just understand the game and what's going on right now. Or he says, man, a lot of the stuff these guys talk about has happened to me a lot. Maybe I'll listen for a little bit and see what's going on. But how many times do we see the Twitters from girls that are in tears because they went to, they have been online, they're trying to date, and all the boys that they like either just, hit it and quit it, or they get ghosted because they're not going to put out on the first date. Well, it's the same thing, except this doesn't have anything to do with the bedroom. This is just meeting. And these women are horrible and unable to even be worthy. This is another one. I don't think this has music on it. Let me hear for a second. Okay, it's just super loud. Okay, so this is in a crowd downtown. And this is a guy that's, he's got a rose and he gives it to a guy and he says, hey, give this to the girl and, maybe ask her out or something. Listen to how this girl responds. Let's pretend this was a man that says, no, you're too this, you're too that. He goes viral for being a horrible human being. But she's just making her choice be known because she's a woman.
Take me out to dinner. Give me a drink.
He's got a rose for you. He's got a rose.
The guy's trying and you shot him down.
This is the problem.
You gotta give me more than that.
Like what?
What do you want?
I need dinner. I need to be taken out. My hair, my lashes. If you just don't give me a rose, you ain't shit.
Whoa, bro, it's a build-up. Take the rose and see what happens.
One? Not even a dozen? Just one? Not
Why
even
do
a
girls
dozen?
say, hey, why do girls say all that? All right, why should a man go for this? After you said all that.
I'm worth it. Like, I'm gonna give you the time of day. I'm gonna give you what you want. I'm gonna give you what you need. And it ain't even about like dinner and gifts. It's about like time.
So she's saying it's not about dinner and gifts. It's about time. Her time is so valuable that you need to take her out. I mean, he asks what she needs, right? He said, why do girls say all that? Why should a man go for this? Pointing to her after you said all that. And she said, I'm worth it. I'm like, I'm going to give you the time of day. Yeah, but he's giving you the time of day. So that's even. I'm going to give you what you need. Yes, that's called a relationship. You give that to each other, which should be love, attention, sex, all the things that go along with that. And she says, and it ain't even about dinner and gifts. It's about time. She values her time so highly that you have to jump through a ton of hoops and put through a ton of effort just to even get a shot. And what I love about this is, so this young guy here, this guy right here in the center of the screen right now, he's obviously had his few drinks while he's out, and he's right. He's like, it's about a build-up. It's about if a man comes up and says, hey, you're very pretty, I got a rose for you, and she's going to say, only one rose, not a dozen, like this girl says. Only one rose, not dinner, not paying for my nails, not paying for my hair. I mean, that's what she said early on. This, the young guy says, this is a problem. You got to give more, or she says you got to give more than that. He's like, what do you want? I need dinner. I need to be taken out, my hair done, my lashes done. If you just a rose, you're not crap. And then at the end, she says, I'm going to give you what you need. It's not about the dinner and gifts. But you just said it was about the dinner and gifts. So this guy that was trying to interview this young dude here, the dude in the background there, and the original guy that tried to give her the flower, like, this is not. Look, guys, my gate doesn't swing both ways. I'm only for the ladies. He's a tall, decent-looking guy who looks to be in relatively good shape. He's not unattractive, but you look at her, and she's a short, fat roasty. If we flip it, and a pretty, or at least an average-looking girl came up to a troll that looked like Danny DeVito and said, here, I'm going to give you a rose. I'd love to take you out. And he's like, it's not about that. You got to do my hair transplants and pay for me to go to a barber to get my beard trimmed, and you need to take me to dinner, and you need to... The world would go crazy. This would be like leading story in the news. I just can't get over how ridiculous this is. And then we go to the trad wife. Let me see if I have any others that I want to go over here. Okay, and then we get to the trad wives. And then I got a couple articles I read from. Let me make sure I got all the ones I wanted to. Yep. So then we go to the trad wives. This is supposedly from a trad wife, a woman that's telling other trad wives, you shouldn't need to ask permission to spend whatever money you want to.
If you have to ask your husband to buy something, that's financial abuse, and that's not okay.
That's financial harm. So look, my mother and father were married forever. If they wanted if my mom said, oh, I'd love something like that, my dad say, would you like it? He'd be happy to get it for her. If my dad said, oh man, I need to get a couple of tools, something happened or whatever, he said, I'm probably going to run down to the local hardware store or whatever and grab some new tools. My mom would say, okay, because that has a function. Like, tools have a function, because he was going to fix the sink or fix something around the house, and he'd do it himself instead of hiring a plumber, which ultimately would save the family money. He didn't just, I'm going to go buy whatever I want. But what do women buy? Do they buy things that save money for the home? No, of course they don't. They buy things. So now if she can't just go out and spend whatever money without consulting the husband and just spend it, well, now he's too controlling. This is supposedly a conservative woman, Christian woman, whose husband works and makes all the money, and women are supposed to just be able to, like, I'm going to spend it whatever I want. And if we can't pay the bills, oh, well, work more.
And I still hear so many, especially Christians, like, oh, but you should always, I'm like, this is like crazy. You're not a child, you're an adult. So if you're in a consensual relationship, like, hello, you shouldn't have to ask to buy things. That drives me absolutely nutty. But I found out, like, the more and more I've worked with tens of thousands of women, that they all have to ask.
I want you to picture this. A husband comes home, and they don't have a ton of extra money. But a husband comes home with a PlayStation 5 and 10 games and a new LCD flat screen 70-inch TV or projector to put it up on the wall. And but it won't be in her way because, you know, the house is hers. So he'll put it out in the garage. And it cost him, the projector was $1,200, the gaming system $600 plus all the games. It cost him $2,000. Is she going to be like, oh, okay, that's fine? No, she's going to be angry about it. And the reason why she's angry about it is, number one, it brings him joy. Women hate when their husbands have joy. But number two, she's going to think in her head, well, that's $2,000 I could have spent on myself. And that's selfish of you. No, take it back. We can't afford that. But if he came home with a $2,000 tennis bracelet, or he came home with a trip to Hawaii that she could enjoy, well, that's perfectly acceptable. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, except the husband should have to ask, as should the wife, because you're a partnership under the same roof, and it's usually some sort of joint money. They've got it all backwards. Again, if a guy does this, she'd have a melty. And this is the last video, and then I have just a couple of articles to read from. The articles I'm going to read from, I have one article I can read here. The other ones I can't read on YouTube because they're too, they're too adult. And not even like in a crazy way. They just talk about something that YouTube doesn't like me talking about, so I can't talk about it here. But here's a woman, even though, look, she's got the tattoo she's got a couple tattoos above her knee here that look like her baby's feet. So she may have traced the baby's feet or got a print, a footprint of the baby and had it tattooed. And it looks like she's got a dream catcher on her thigh. I'm going to play this because this is the counter argument. People will say, look at this woman. This is, and she's holding a baby. Look at this woman. The good women are out there. They do exist. And you know something, after listening to this woman, you kind of go, gosh, they do exist, but they're so few and far between, and more than likely way out in the boonies, in the sticks, in the rural areas of the country, that if you're near a major metropolitan city, you're not, the odds of finding one are just really low. You may literally need to move out to the country. Let's listen to this guy interview this gal. This will give you a little bit of hope for those of you that think I've given you too many black pills today.
What's your age?
22.
Are you single?
No.
How long you had a man?
5 years.
And how long have you had a baby?
She's almost 2.
Okay, it goes very quick, so I'm going to stop it here. He said, are you single? No. 22. She's 22. How long have you had a man? She says 5 years. So since the age of 17. The baby's 2 years old, which means that she has a man since 17, when they were young, in school probably. They got married probably around the age of 20, and she has a baby, and now she's 22, and the kid is 2, and she's got a husband.
Was it with him or with somebody else?
Him.
So how much does he...
The interviewer almost sounds shocked. Was it with him or somebody else? And she's like, with him. And he's like, oh. Like he looked a little taken back. And here's the crazy thing. She's not incredibly obese, and it's hard to tell, but she's got some big old glasses on, but she doesn't look to be bad looking.
What do you have to make to take care of you and your daughter?
At least $1,000 a month.
$1,000 a month?
Food, groceries, car insurance, diapers, wipes.
Now, how much would you say a man has to make annually to take care of a family of 3?
Annually, overall, at least $30,000 a year.
On just a baby? Or...
every expense you would need for a stay-at-home mom and a child.
But if he's spending $30K a year on both you and your daughter, how much more would he need to make to live comfortably?
Oh, we are comfortable. That's comfortable.
So a family of 3 could survive off of just $40K a year?
Yeah. It's just not going to be a lavish lifestyle. But this economy sucks.
So you just make it work.
Yeah.
How based is that, right? How based is that? And so I do want to give the counter argument. But if she can get by, if they as a family can get by, she says $1,000 a month, they can get by. And if he makes 30 grand a year after taxes and everything, maybe that's 24, 25 grand a year. That's $2,000 a month. My apartment in a major city costs me that, which many of you can attest to. So she's way out in the sticks, guys. This is a lot of times when I talk to guys and I say, if you want to buy a plot of land and you want to buy, a metal building or put a trailer or double wide or something that is affordable, you're going to have to live out in the sticks. This gal lives out in the sticks, but she met her boyfriend in high school. She realized there's not a lot of choice out there. There's not a lot of other men out there competing. I mean, they're at an event that has people, so it's not like, and this guy, he interviews people all the time. I've seen him interview many different people. But it's obvious they live in a rural area of the country. And she met her husband when they were young. And then they had the child together. And he may not make a ton of money, but she says, we're going to make it work. We'll make it work. You just don't live a lavish lifestyle. And you can almost hear in the interviewers, and I don't know what his name is. I wish I could remember it. But you can hear in his voice, like he keeps trying to push, like, let me get the gotcha. There's got to be a gotcha in here. I'll just, so the first gotcha, you have a man. Yes. How long have you been with him? 17. And the baby's 2. And he says, is it his or your baby? Or his, another guy's baby or your man's? And she's like, no, it was with him. So that gotcha fails. And I'm not saying that he's like doing a bad thing on the gotcha, but he's trying to root around to be like, okay, what's wrong with this? This is not normal. How much does he need to take care of you and your daughter? And she's like $1,000 a month. And he said food, groceries, car insurance, or she says food, grocery, car insurance, diapers, and wipes. He said, how much would he have to make annually to take care of the 3 of you? And she said, overall, 30 grand a year. And he said, on just the baby. And she said, no, that's for a stay-at-home mom. She's not working. So here you're in a rural area. You've got a stay-at-home mom. I think many of us, myself included, look, I went through my crazy stages in life. I definitely was not a good guy to all the women I dated. But when I was in high school, a couple of the girlfriends that I had, it didn't work out that great. A couple of them cheated on me or, went to go date a football player or something like that. Like it didn't work out. But if I had fallen in love with a woman in high school, I'm from the old school, like my family was very much hey, you meet the right girl, you do the right thing, you get married, you have a family. If I met a woman that was really in love with me from high school and she said, hey, we're in this still thick and thin, and she's not on the, back in my day, they didn't have the cell phones, but she's not out there trying to find other dudes or going to the clubs or doing all the crazy things. And she was just she's just, hey, I just want to be a stay-at-home mom and I want to have some kids and hey, this little place is fine. We don't need a ton more money. My first marriage was at 21, but I wasn't able to give her what she needed because she needed all the things. I did a very bad job of picking my first wife. If this had been my pick, I might be a grandpa living out in the sticks somewhere, because if I had a kid if they were 20 and they had a kid, and then my kid turned 20 and had decided to have a kid, at 52 years old, I'd have a 32-year-old son, and he'd have a 12-year-old kid. So by the time I'm 60, I'd be a great-grandfather if my life panned out like theirs. I think a lot of guys out there would say, you know something? If living out in the kind of the boonies and the sticks, and there was me and my wife, and our kids lived right down the road, down the road on their farm or their property, and he just has his kid that's now, 12 or whatever it is, and they grow up and this is where you have a community, where you have a family where maybe something happens and you need a little bit of help. You go talk to your father or your grandfather or your great-grandfather. where you have that familial love and that care for each other, where you've got that support system of family and community, where you don't need that much money to be happy because your lives are filled with loved ones. I think most of us guys would say, that's really the life I'd like. I wish I could have that life, but things didn't work out that well for me. Or I got divorced, or I haven't met that woman yet. And when you look, and again, I'm not trying to, like, let me see if I can bring this up size-wise a little bit here. When you look at this gal, she's thin. She's got the nerdy glasses on, but she's not bad looking. How many guys would say, you know something? Like, I'd be happy if I came home to that. Why would I complain? I got my kids, I got my parents, I got my grandparents. Or as you age, you look at my age right now at 50. You look at my age now at 50. My father just passed. He just passed a couple of years ago, 2 years ago. So if we did it all at the 20-year-old stage, which I think is an adult, especially in the rural part of the country, my father would have been alive at 75. And if he had had me at 20, 55, he was actually 85 when he passed. He had me at 30. But I'm just saying math-wise. 75, 55, 35, 15. That's where people are like, oh yeah, well, my father and my grandfather and my great-grandfather, they're all alive. We're all hanging out with each other. And the knowledge is passed down. And the family. And these are the things that I think a lot of guys say, man, I wish things were still like this. I know I can say that. I wish my life turned out that way instead of being perpetually a bachelor and having women do horrible things to the point where I'm like, screw it, I'm out. And you can be happy with that lifestyle. And I'm perfectly happy with my life. But if you ask me, going back, if you could change your life and you could be the great-grandfather or the grandfather and have your father and your son and his sons and have that family and everybody loves each other and you have that family support, even if you kind of lived out, on the edge of nowhere and you were a farmer, man, that sounds pretty good, I think. But women aren't like this much anymore. And that's what I think makes a lot of guys realize that, women have become the men they hated. Women have always said, oh, we hate guys that only value women for their bodies or only sleep with them or use them or, date younger. Women are all doing that, and they're cheering it on. They're thrilled about it. And it's actually the men saying, you know what? I think I would like a family, but I can't find one. I think I'd like kids, but I can't find them. I think I'd like a stable life with one good person, but I can't find that. It used to be what women said. But now because of feminism and everything else, it's now the men that say that. And the women are the ones that want all the money and all the hot guys and all the partying and all the things. It's the women now. How odd and how strange things have become in the world when it's the men that are actually the ones that are trying to slow down the pace of society and say, hey, maybe we've gone too far. Guys, if you're on YouTube, make sure to hop over to Rumble. Hop over to Locals. I got 3 or 4 articles I'm going to read here. If you want to pause for a second, you can see the titles of the articles I'm going to read. Here's one. Here's another. And you'll see, hey, women are now becoming the bad ones. They used to accuse men of doing all the bad things, the teachers doing all the bad things. Now it's the women. We're going to talk about that. But you got to be over on Rumble or Locals to check it out. So otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.